Will you promise not to click away from this video if I reveal something that goes against most sneaker culture out there? Please. And I'm just, this is me, this is my channel. I'm very open about my opinions and stuff like that. And sometimes people shoot me up with a comment down below and say, oh, you know, I actually agree with you. And I think, oh, okay, I'm not the only one. Or people say, nah, you've got that one wrong for these reasons, which is what I like. I like it when people share a difference of opinion, just because we think, you know, have a difference of opinion doesn't make us enemies. You can still be friends. But what sometimes happens is people just like hammer me in the comments down below. My favorite recent one, it was held, and there's a thing that YouTube has where they hold comments that are a bit controversial and they don't actually let them go public until the content creator says yes on them. But I hardly ever look at it, you know. But the other day I clicked on it and looked at it, and there was a comment in there that said like, you effing old git, you don't know what you're talking about, or something like that. And something, you know, I don't mind that. I don't have a problem if people disagree with me. I prefer if they tell me why. You know what I mean? I prefer if they actually say you don't know what you're talking about because of this reason, or you didn't know this, or you didn't realize that. Oh, okay, thanks for telling me. It's good to share sort of things. But anyway, the thing about getting off track, the thing is that I'm saying that, you know, maybe people who like their sneakers out there will find this a little difficult to accept, but please don't click away, is I really struggle with patent leather on shoes. Really, really. Don't like it. Patent leather on sneakers, I should say, I suppose, really. It's just not my thing. So when you come to the Air Jordan 11, which a lot of people think is very, very cool, and it is a good looking sneaker, and then you come to the classic in that line, which is the Concord, and I'm like, you know, sort of like, so, because I just, patent leather doesn't do it for me. It's not my kind of thing. So when I looked at this shoe, immediately I was like, don't really want to talk about it. But then I saw it again, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't realize that detail on there. Okay, maybe my opinion is, oh. Then I saw it again, and it's like, wow. And then I really zoomed in on one part, because what I was doing was I was zooming in to see the color of something, and I'll get to that in this video. And then because I'd zoomed in so tight, I noticed something else over there. It's like, wow, that's really, really cool. All in all, it turns out that it's a very nice looking sneaker. And you know what? It might be a patent leather sneaker that I can actually live with. So without further ado, let's get into this and have a look at the upcoming release of the Nike Air Jordan 1 High Black Gold Patent Leather. This is the Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channel desu. Mainichi Apsu no de, mainichi mite kudasai. And every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And what we've got in the spotlight today is the upcoming release on November the 30th of these black gold patent leather Air Jordan 1 highs. And it's, you know, Air Jordan 1s are the shoe I've done the most at the channel. I've had the channel for almost 3 years now, almost 2 years now, and Air Jordan 1s are the dominant sneaker, especially because there's lows, mids and highs, and I do videos about all three of them. And then when a shoe like this comes along, you know, it's questionable whether I'm going to look at it, but you know what, there's just so much going on in it, and I just couldn't turn away from it. There was one particular shot, I don't know if I'll be able to find it again. Actually, I think I've got it, and it will look pretty good, and the patent leather didn't look as matte gloss, that's the word I'm looking for. Didn't look as gloss in this particular shot as it does in other shots, and that's my issue with patent leather, is the gloss feel to it, which doesn't do it for me. But you can see in this shot right here, it's a lot more subdued and a lot more dulled down. So so it's a bit of a yes for me. Now there was a mid that looked like this 17 years ago, but it's the big difference on between the mid and these guys is to do with how high these are, obviously being a high compared to the mid, and then that extra hit of gold that you get up around the ankle on these, which makes a big difference to the shoe, and sort of separates it from its mid kind of cousin from 17 years ago. But anyway, there's other shoes that tie it up, and other shoes that kind of come together with this one that really made me think about other details. And then there's that one thing that really got me hooked. Now I'm going to start with that one thing. I prefer to sort of start with those kind of things and then, you know, gradually get less detailed, if you know what I mean. So what I did was, I was looking at the shoe, and it was like my third time to look at it and think, oh, okay, maybe it is worth bringing to the channel. But then I was looking at this midsole here, and I don't know if you can catch this, and I was like, what's going on with the outsole? Is it black on black midsole and outsole? Or is the outsole some kind of grey or something different? So I zoomed in like this on it, like so. I was on my iPad. I was using that zoom feature, zoom on it to. And what I wanted to look at was the outsole and the midsole together. And I did look at that, and I was like, oh, okay, it looks like black on black to me. But the bigger detail, which I hadn't realised, is very difficult to see. I don't know if you're picking up on it yet, but what I'm talking about is the stitching that runs around the length of the midsole, holding it onto the upper, is also in gold. But that's kind of lost in the photographs that I've seen. It wasn't, if I hadn't zoomed in looking in detail at the midsole and the outsole, I wouldn't have seen that stitching and seen that sort of gold on there, which is a very cool motif and a very cool detail on these shoes. Very big yes, as far as I'm concerned. And then if we go, let's go up. Maybe I'll go out, because what I want to talk about is the fact that it's a two-tone sneaker. Often Air Jordan 1s are three-tone, where you'd have like white, black and red, or you'd have green, black and white, or something like that. And sometimes, I mean, it's not often, occasionally, maybe occasionally is the right word, a two-tone shoe will come along like this, and it's just black and gold and nothing else. So there's not a third colour in there like white to give it an extra bit of colour. But it really works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they look a little bit dull when they're only in two colours. Even if it's just putting a white midsole on it to give it a bit of extra push, you know, sometimes the two colours doesn't work. But in the case of these guys, it very, very much works. And the funny thing is, it reminded me of this, ding, which doesn't make any sense, because that's going from a black patent leather shoe to a grey/silver shoe. But what I'm talking about is on that grey silver co.jp Jordan 1, if I'm zooming in on it, and the Wings logo. When I saw the Wings logo of today's shoe, I was like, oh, looks a lot like that. So if we jump back to the current video and you look at the current shoe and look at the Wings logo on there and think, oh, you know what, that does kind of look like those co.jps. But then the co.jps are sort of embedded in the ankle, and they have a kind of cover on top, like a plastic translucent cover on top of them. But if we zoom in on this one here, you can see it's a totally different design as far as how they've gotten that Wings logo imprinted onto the ankle itself. So it's much more about like embossed, I think is the word I want to go for, instead of it being like a embedded panel, or equally it's not done in stitching as well. What it is absolutely fire. One of the rare things that often doesn't work in shoes is they've got the gold right on this shoe. Gold works with certain materials, like leather's not a problem at all, but some materials it doesn't work with well, especially fabric materials. But in the case of this shoe, they've actually done a really good job of staying in gold and not fading to like yellow or tan, for example. And that Wings logo on the side, which is also surrounded by the higher ankle, which is also in gold, as I said before, looks really, really good. And then if we come to the front of the shoe, another place where they could have played around with that double colour, and they didn't, is on the tongues, where you see that Nike Air branding in gold at the top and the rest of the tongues in black. So they could have you know, put something in there like in like grey or sail or even white to kind of give it that third colour definition. But they chose not to. They stayed with this sort of standard two-tone colourway that they were going for with this shoe, and it definitely works. Now I'm still hung up on it being patent leather. I just don't. Maybe it's just because I'm not cool enough, you know what I mean? Like, my wardrobe isn't cool enough to carry off a patent leather shoe. So maybe that's what the problem is here. It's not the shoe itself, it's me. It's not you, it's me. But you know, that's just my opinion. We don't all have to like all the same things. That'd be dull if we did that. And for me, this is just a sort of like, it's a great looking patent leather shoe, but it's still a patent leather shoe. So it's never quite going to get off the production line as far as I'm concerned. But if you have a difference of opinion, you think differently from me, definitely let me know. I don't have a problem with that. I don't mind people having differences of opinion. In fact, I respect it, as long as it's not an opinion that's imposed. Oh, you're wrong and I'm right. How about you have your opinion, I have my opinion, and they differ, and we don't actually have to try and change each other's opinions. You know what I mean? Oh, you think this is a cool shoe and I don't? I'm not going to try and make you think it's not a cool shoe. You shouldn't try and make me think it is a cool shoe. We have a difference of opinion, and we can just sit that way and just leave it. Don't need to try and change each other's opinions. We can have differences of opinions and still be friends. I don't know how long I've been saying that at the channel. I think at least a year I've been saying that. We can have differences of opinion. We can have differences of opinions and still be friends. And I think that's a good note to finish on for today. So thank you guys for checking out the content. I do truly appreciate it. It's been a long time we've been churning out this daily content. We're getting close to the 2-year anniversary of daily content. We're past 2-year anniversary of the channel, but actually daily content without missing a single day. It will soon be 2 years with every single day having a video from my channel. So I'm glad to be able to do that for you guys, and because I do that, that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.